quick podcast on my experience with the competence model of the Become project, and I will answer a few questions related with my experience with this project.
Oh, can you present yourself?
Yes, of course. So I am Renato Pereira. I'm a professor of entrepreneurship at ISCTE Business School in Portugal. I have been teaching entrepreneurship at both undergraduate and graduate levels. So, undergraduate is a mandatory subject. On the graduate level, master's level, there are two elective subjects in entrepreneurship: strategic entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship and venture creation, and another mandatory one called entrepreneurship and networks.
And which are for you the advantages of using the competence model of Become on the entrepreneurship teaching?
So this model is actually very interesting, and I think that the key point is that it actually shows students that entrepreneurship is actually a set of competencies rather than just something that you are born with. Okay, so we received many comments from students like, this is not something that you can learn, either you are or you are not. So with this competence model, we created a roadmap for students to actually become effective entrepreneurs.
And what pedagogical strategies have you used and how were related with the course and contents?
Right, so we have used basically two strategies. One was to explore the divergent thinking, so putting competing teams on a particular business idea after students, for example, presented their the way they were planning to develop a business. So we put two groups competing and actually looking at different angles of the same problem. And this has actually created significant motivation for students because they realized that they could actually apply the knowledge and the processes that they had learned to actually make a point. So this has been very useful. The other one was to ask students to, at the end of the course, to actually write kind of a summary report on their learning in terms of competencies, and at the same time asking students in that report to build a development plan for the same competencies. So students actually engage in the process of writing a report. They realize what had they developed in terms of competencies that they were not actually familiar with. So they had not realized in many cases. And at the same time, it creates a sense of lifelong experience that you can build upon after the subject. And the fact that they had to write on that made kind of a point on the learning process and helped them to actually take conscience on how much they have learned and how much progress they have made since the beginning of the course.
And which were the reactions of students being exposed to a competence model for entrepreneurship?
Right. So the first reaction was actually surprise. So they were not expecting that, and this was a very positive surprise in the sense that entrepreneurship was for them was like making some calculations to launch a new company, and then suddenly they realized that is a set of competencies that you can build and develop and you can actually learn. So that was the key element for them, is that they can learn how to become entrepreneurs. And this was the first and very significant reaction that I have taken from both the courses and actually the reports. The second reaction is actually was competitiveness, because they really felt interested by being or having the best idea or having the best plan or having the best arguments to support their proposal. So they were really much more competitive at the end of the semester than they were in the beginning, as they are used to cooperate rather than compete actually. So this was actually a second type of reaction. And third was, I can say maybe with I don't think I'm exaggerating, but the third reaction is happiness, because they were really happy about the fact that they can actually use entrepreneurship to have to make progress in their skill set, and using entrepreneurship as a leverage, even if they are not going to become entrepreneurs right away, even if they just going to join a company and having a regular job. So I think that is the progress I have seen in students during the semester.
And can you finally share the main takeaways um, of your experience using the Become Competence Model and pedagogical skills, and particularly the guidelines?
I think that the guidelines are very positive to help us find a way on creating an interaction with students to build competencies. So this model is really rooted in education strategies, and is rooted in how to actually guide students in the process of building those competencies. So the key takeaway is having this new perspective on entrepreneurship as a competence building kind of subject. So and actually in a business school like ours, entrepreneurship is more actually like doing those calculations to launch a new company, and explain what are the challenges of a new business rather than just an established one. So the key takeaway is actually completely new perspective on entrepreneurship, a new set of possibilities for teaching entrepreneurship, and especially for motivating students, seeing entrepreneurship as much more than just launching a new company.
Okay, thank you for sharing your experience.
Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure, and I'll see you soon.